At the end of this topic, you will be able to define probability, understand the terms in probability, learn more about empirical probability.
A delineate of probability. Probability is a branch of mathematics that deals with calculating the likelihood of a given event's occurrence. Probability is a chance that something will happen. The chance of events like earthquakes, cyclones, tsunami, lightning, and so on is unpredictable. Such predictions well in advance of their actual happenings require the study of probability theory.
Experiment. Any action which produces results is called experiment or trial. Experiments are broadly classified in two ways: deterministic experiment and random experiment. Let us see about deterministic experiment. A deterministic experiment is one in which the outcomes can be predicted with certainty for repeated instances under identical conditions. Blue litmus dipped in an acid turns to red always, and when we heat the water, it evaporates. These are some examples of a deterministic experiment.
Let us see about random experiment. Probabilities always pertain to the occurrence or non-occurrence of events. A random experiment is one in which the exact outcome cannot be predicted before conducting the experiment. Rolling a die and tossing a coin are some examples of random experiment. Outcomes. The results of a random experiment are called outcomes. The outcomes satisfying the particular condition are known as favorable outcomes. For example, if a card is drawn from a pack of 52 cards, then there are 52 possible favorable outcomes. Sample space. The set of all possible outcomes of a random experiment is called its sample space, and it is denoted by the letter S. Each element of the sample space is called a sample point. The number of elements in the set S is denoted by N of S. Let us see the examples for sample space. The sample space of rolling a die is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here, N of S is equal to 6. The sample space of rolling 2 dice is as shown here. N of S is equal to 36. Equally likely events. Two or more events are said to be equally likely if each one of them has an equal chance of occurrence. For example, in tossing a coin, the occurrence of head and the occurrence of tail are equally likely events. Let us see an example. Find the sample spaces of the following experiments. 2 coins are tossed. 3 coins are tossed. Click on the solution button to view the solution. Let us see another example. A fair die is rolled. Write the events of getting the number 4, an even number, a prime factor of 6, a number greater than 4. Click on the solution button to view the solution. Event. An event is the outcome or a combination of outcomes of an experiment. Example, consider the random experiment of rolling a pair of dice. The occurrence of a sum equal to 6 is an event.
Classification of probability. Probability can be classified mainly into 3 types: subjective probability, classical probability, empirical probability. Subjective probability is the individual's view in making decisions is the important factor. If there is no direct evidence about the event, this type of probability is applied. Classical probability. It is originated in connection with games of chance. It applies when all outcomes are equally likely. Given n likely outcomes, where S represents the number of successful outcomes, then the probability of a success is given by S by n. Empirical probability determines the likelihood of outcomes of the actual experience. The empirical probability of happening of an event E, denoted by P of E, is given by P of E is equal to the number of trials in which the event happened divided by the total number of trials, or P of E is equal to the number of favorable observations divided by the total number of observations, which is called as simple space. The probability of happening of an event always lies from 0 to 1. The event which contains all the sample points of a sample space is called a sure event or certain event. That is, P of E is equal to 1. The event which does not contain any sample point of a sample space is called an impossible event. That is, P of E is equal to 0. If P of E is the probability of an event, then the probability of the event E not happening is denoted by P of E complement. P of E plus P of E complement is equal to 1. The record of a weather station shows that out of the past 300 consecutive days, its weather was forecasted correctly 195 times. What is the probability that on a given day selected at random, the forecast was correct, the forecast was not correct? Click on the solution button to view the solution. In this topic, you have learnt an action which produces a result is called an experiment or a trial. An experiment whose outcome can be predicted with certainty under identical conditions, or the experiment that gives only one result, is known as deterministic experiment. All possible outcomes of an experiment are known but not possible to predict the exact outcome in advance, or experiment gives more than one result under identical condition is called random variable. The set of all possible and distinct outcomes of an experiment is called the sample space of that experiment and is denoted by S. Each element of the sample space is called the sample point. Any subset of the sample space is called an event. Probability is mainly divided into three types: subjective probability, classical probability, empirical probability. The empirical probability of happening of an event E, denoted by P of E, is given by P of E is equal to the number of trials in which the event happened divided by the total number of trials, or P of E is equal to the number of favorable observations divided by the total number of observations. P of E lies between 0 and 1. P of complement E is equal to 1 minus P of E.